Have you fallen off of your healthy eating plan? I know, me too. It's the holiday season, and depending on whenever you're watching this, it doesn't really matter if it's holidays or if you've just fallen off the wagon with your healthy eating. I've come to share some tips with you on how to get back on track. I am Michelle Smith. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you are not. So the first tip on getting back on track with your healthy eating is to first of all remember that deciding to walk in a pathway of healthy eating, a lifestyle is what it is. And with lifestyles, there are always going to be highs and lows. The important thing is just to make sure that you get back on track when you fall off the wagon. I have fallen off the wagon many times, but as long as I still have breath in my body, I am going to continue to forge ahead, because even if I take 3 steps ahead and 1 step back, I am still progressing. So my tip to you is just to remember that as this is a lifestyle, you're going to have highs and lows. The second tip to get back on track is to stop dwelling on past decisions that you have made that were with regard to poor food choices. Now, I might be seeming like I'm the pot calling the kettle black when I shared not too long ago how I fell off the wagon when I was in the hospital. That was like an extreme thing that happened with us, with my son being in the hospital. But at the end of the day, I still have to recognize that those choices were already made. It's done, it's over with, and it's time to move forward. The third thing to move ahead and get back on track with healthy eating is to avoid the comparison trap. Yes, there are those who they eat healthy all the time and you can't understand why in the heck they don't give in to the Snicker bar. Or there are those who, when they do fall off the wagon, they don't even gain an ounce. You're like, I look at food and gain weight. You know what? Everybody's body makeup is different. Everybody's walk through life is different. Do not compare yourself to others with regard to how they eat versus how you eat. I have become so sick and tired of falling off the wagon, and then I look at someone else who fell off the wagon and they're back on track, back in the gym, back doing the things they need to do, and I'm still stuck. At the end of the day, my walk is different from theirs, and I'm not going to condemn myself any longer. I'm just going to do what needs to be done to get back on track. The fourth thing that you could do to get back on track with your healthy eating is to increase your water intake. Water helps to keep you full and satisfied. You can add lemon to your water. You can add bubbles to your water. I really do love to have sparkling water, and some may say that, oh, it's not the same as flat water. I disagree. I actually asked my doctor, like, if I'm drinking sparkling water or if I'm drinking water that I've added like carbonation to, does it still count towards my water intake? And she said yes. So I'm gonna go with that, and so should you. Or you could just keep your water flat. Just make sure that you drink a lot more of it. It would help greatly to stave off some of those cravings. So the next thing that you can do to get back on track, now this may sound keto, and you may not be someone who's on a keto diet like myself, but increase your fat intake and lower your carb intake drastically. That doesn't mean it has to be keto, less than 20 grams. It could really be 50 grams of carbs, whatever it is. When you lower your carb intake and you drastically increase the amount of healthy fat that you eat, you increase the satiety of your cravings. Like, you don't crave as much. You actually help bring that into submission. And so that's a great way to get back on track with healthy eating. The next way to get back on track with healthy eating is to try intermittent fasting. When you completely eliminate eating, it kind of helps you to take back control. Now, obviously, intermittent fasting, you're not like completely eliminating eating. What you're doing is you're shrinking your eating window. So my suggestion is to maybe start 1 day a week, 2 days a week, and slowly increase the number of days that you intermittent fast and decrease the amount of time that you are able to eat. So when I first started intermittent fasting, I started out like, I would have my first meal at like 10:30 and I would have my last meal at 7. Some may say like, well, that's not intermittent fasting. It is for me because I used to eat from sun up to sundown. So that's where I started. But then it began to get smaller, my eating window. I started eating at 12 and finishing at 6, 7. So I had a 6, 7 hour eating window. Eventually, my goal is to make it to a 4-hour eating window where I start eating at like 2. I have my first meal at 2, no snacking in between. And then I have my final meal at like, say, 6. That way I have a 4-hour eating window. And that will greatly help you get back on track with healthy eating because you don't have, all these extreme choices. You don't have choices to make because you're not eating during that time. During that time, though, you do want to drink lots of water, like I shared in the previous tip. And my final tip for getting back on track with healthy eating is to avoid social situations where there is temptation. The birthday parties, the Christmas parties, all those things. I know they'll say, well, you only live once, this is the time. Well, God willing, there'll be another birthday party. There'll be another Christmas party. But until you're strong enough, until you're resilient enough, you want to avoid those situations that bring you too much temptation. While you're trying to get back on track with your healthy eating, you don't need someone throwing cupcakes in your face, or at least I don't. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sharing from my perspective and the tips that I know help me get back on track when I have fallen off the wagon. Anyway, if any of these resonated with you, share it down in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to this channel if you are new here. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you and God bless.